set the challenge. Talk us through the brief.
Yeah, right. So this is really coming from the heart of our product engine, which is how do we utilize all of the social sentiment and advocacy out in the marketplace to influence commercial value? How do we use that to influence the way that we design and bring product to market? That's really what we're looking for here today. Okay.
And when it comes to, obviously you're going to see 6 startups, what's the criteria for selecting the winner?
Well, it's as much about the people, you know. If you get real confidence in the pitch and the quality of the individuals, of course, we're always looking for that nirvana of something that's easy to implement and that's got high return on investment, of course.
Cool. Nothing too, you know, you're putting the challenge pretty high here, Stuart.
Yeah, well, you know.
You want low-hanging fruit. Okay, cool. Let's go for this.
Hi, everybody looking at this from home. I'm Ricardo, and I'm the founder of Localistico. We do basically offline retail, so I'm afraid this is going to be the most boring pitch of today. Because we do brick and mortar marketing, which is boring, but very important. Because for most retailers, M&S included, 90+% of the revenue is generated on a physical place. As you know, during COVID, there was like a whole emergence of e-commerce. Like everybody's very, very digital now. All consumers are very digital, and we saw that spike on demand on all the e-commerce channels. This is actual revenues over the last months. But what we normally don't see is how that compares to revenue generated on brick and mortar stores, which is that line on yellow on the top. And interestingly, in the US, where people have reopened, that trend of going to the store has actually even gone higher than the previous trend, which means we're going to have a lot of people with disposable income wanting to go back to the stores. We know this because we work with Zara from Inditex Group, and the day that they reopened, there were queues going around the block from people wanting to buy. The interesting thing is that now that consumers are more digital, we should be able to leverage them and target them across all those channels, both offline, which brings, for example, an increased basket. You buy more when you're in a store. But online, when you have discoverability, you have speed of operations, you can analyze your analytics, which is what all marketers love. You've seen zillion of solutions about analytics. What we think is, what happens if we could do both things? Like, what happens if you could have the discoverability and the speed of operation and the analytics that you have on digital in offline? Why not do both? And why we don't do both, unfortunately, is like as every brand discovered during COVID, basically the local discovery is different to e-commerce discovery. Like if you think about, if I ask you to find actually kids' pajamas is one of my normal queries to show this. If you wanted to show where can I buy kids' pajamas around here, you would start probably with a search. That will probably take you either to a page, or maybe you get targeted with analytics. You're going to use some apps to request directions to the store. You're going to go to the store where we have people counters and digital POSs and a lot of things that track the user. And then you're going to have an interaction afterwards, maybe leaving me a review if it was really crappy, maybe tagging yourself on Instagram, right? Right now, there is data about you in all those systems. The problem is that they are separate databases. Your first search was maybe in Google Maps, your traffic in the website is on analytics, your data from the store is on the people counter or the POS database, your review maybe is on Instagram. And right now, those are separate databases that are not connected. Not only that, in a large organization like M&S, those databases belong to different teams. If I want to know whether a store is open or not, I need to talk with store operations. If we are running a campaign, that's with digital marketing. If I need to change anything on the website, I need to speak with e-commerce. And this is why, for example, during COVID, a lot of your store locators were not updated, and basically you didn't know if a store was open or not, so you couldn't transact, right? Imagine if we could put all of that together. So that's basically what we do at Localistico. Localistico is basically a SaaS platform which tries to do inbound marketing automation, but for physical stores. What we try to do is use all those channels to help people find you and drive more footfall, optimize how many people are going to the store, track and analyze everything that they are doing in any of those channels, how many people search for you, how many people ask for directions, how many people bought on a given store, and then help you launch posts and promotions around those stores to kind of drive even more people on the store. And basically, we try to put together all those channels in a simple way, even something that you can share with the whole organization. Like some of our clients, every shop manager and every area manager has got access to their own data, for example, and can launch their own promotions. And then you can do, of course, funnel views and all these things, but orientated to stores. How many people are searching on an area? How many people are clicking through my store? How many transactions did we actually make? And for any retailer on the shop, if we cannot increase your top line in like 10% and your bottom line in around 5%, I'm eating my shoe. So And of course, you can share that with the rest of the organization, which is another important thing. Drive more people to the store, but also make an organization more efficient, which is something that's going to be another topic. How do we use the stores, and how do we use the store's personnel? Localistico is like a very funny name and very difficult to pronounce, so you will not know our brand, but we work with some of the largest retailers in the world, including Inditex and Morrisons, for example, both very related to what M&S does. And basically what we're trying to do is that, how can we make offline retail take some of that speed of digital and put it in practice? And we think this is going to be very needed over the next years. That's basically everything. Thank you.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I'm not sure it was against a specific brief around social sentiment, but actually answers a question that incumbent, not legacy, incumbent retailers like ourselves are facing into. And so by kind of a weird, perverse twist of fate, that's a really interesting solution and one that has got great tangibility for a business like ours.
Thank you.
How do you drive out kind of the incremental value of each of the touch points in order to drive the investment going forward for each of those brands?
Yeah, so we normally take every project like customizing to what the retailer is trying to do in the short term. The first thing would be, of course, driving more people to the store, because we think if we make it a revenue earning project, it's more important than analytics one. So we try to, for example, M&S is a destination target, what we call, so you sell everything from like food to clothing to anything else. So it would be of which of those categories people that are searching right now are not finding those categories, and which ones do we have to promote. That's normally the main one. And for that, we analyze competitor traffic in the area, each of the stores, because, for example, you're not going to promote the same an M&S food as you promote a traditional big one where you have both food and tailoring. So we try to actually do that combined, analyze the case, look first at how we increase funnel, and then look at the analytics to decide.
Thank you. And kind of implementation, what's the sort of lead time you're talking about before you can start to see first returns?
So we launched, for example, O2 UK, very famous telco. They have 500 shops. We launched them in a week. So we basically can get somebody running. It's a B2B SaaS platform, so it's very easy to implement. We can get the beginning running in the first month, and then from then, obviously, is analyze and evolve like you do in marketing, typically.
Any central integrations required, or is it all kind of off-platform?
Sorry?
Any central integrations required with the retail partners, or are you taking all external data?
Yes, if we do offline integrations, it can be direct. So if you work with somebody like Oracle Micros or anything like that, or it can be indirect. Via if you're already connected to a SAP or a Salesforce or a Microsoft Dynamics, we can connect to those.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Sure. Thank you.
But of course, there can only be one winner. So the winner of the M&S Brand Challenge is?
Yeah, it's the red herring, I'm afraid. It's Localisto.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is yours.
Are we taking photos?
Let's take photos.
Yep, like this.